The book is called Seasons of Moon and Flame, The Wild Dreamer's Epic Journey of Becoming. And it's about the relationship between basically three things: ritual, story, and the archetype of the hag. So in the book, the reader essentially visits the four houses of the sacred hags, and there's a hag for each season. So we begin in spring with the house of the garden hag, and then we move on to the house of the desert hag in summer, the house of the sea hag in autumn, and then lastly, the house of the mountain hag. And as the reader travels to these four different houses of the sacred hags, they essentially apprentice the reader through story, and then there's different rituals, ceremonies, and spell work offered based off of the stories that the sacred hag is sharing with the reader. The hag archetype is a very strong, powerful energy. All archetypal energy is very strong and powerful. It is an energy just like any energy that we might work with in our magic. However, archetypal energy, I feel, is a little bit more, it's a little bit more difficult to hold and to wield. So it isn't necessarily an energy to be wielded, but it is one that is a very wise teacher. So the archetypal energy of the hag is a wise teacher. And so in the book, the sacred hag, you meet the sacred hag, and then they kind of do their work on you. So it's about how you are the hag, and how the seemingly ordinary hags that you've known in the world, these ordinary people that myths seem to incarnate within, how they perhaps have been your wisest teachers as well. I speak of embodiment in the book a lot because I believe that the body in witchcraft is everything, almost everything. The body is where we meet the world, and a lot of the books on witchcraft that I read when I was much younger, they acknowledge the body, and part of it was my naivete and maybe not reading into them quite as well as I should have. But there wasn't a lot of talk of embodied energy and how magic actually feels in the body, how movement really supports the ability to hold the tension of the different energies that we might work with in spellcraft or ritual. So I do speak of embodiment a lot because I believe that the body is very holy, that our feeling flesh has of course been very denigrated through the overculture, but that it is very important in witchcraft. So I do talk about the body quite a bit. The role of the witch in the wounded world, I think, is very changeable. However, I think that the witch is an activist, the witch is a storyteller, the witch is uniquely positioned on the fringes, and she's always been there. So that she's able to affect change in the world, but she's not necessarily wholly a part of that, the culture that she might be seeking to dismantle. So she exists on the fringes for a reason. She's not totally removed, but she's not totally in it. And I think that that is an important aspect of the role of the witch today when we're living in these times of climate collapse and political turmoil. The witch being on the fringes and able to participate, because everything's participation, and she does that through story, magic, ritual, meeting with others, but then also solitary on her own, casting spells, over the kitchen sink. So the role of the witch in the wounded world is very important, as she exists kind of as an outlaw, who's sort of witching the systems from the inside, and is marked by enduring against all odds hope.